What's up guys? So welcome back to the channel here today. We're going to make another video for you on the 240SX here with the LS Turbo V8. And what we're going to do today is we're going to clean up this mess of wiring down here in the passenger floorboard where I keep my ECU. Let me flip the camera around for you here real quick. Okay, so I got this whole rat's nest here of ECU and wiring harness and other wires and etc, etc. And I need to clean this up so when I have passengers in here they have some place to put their feet. So that is today's project. Let's get this mess cleaned up. Okay, so the basic plan that I've got going on here, at least to start with, is I'm going to take this piece here which screws up into the dash of the S13 and kind of fits up at an angle like that. And then the glove box would attach down here, so the hinges for the glove box door would attach down here. So I'm going to install this back on the car ultimately, and then I'm going to use this metal here that I have left over from my intercooler duct project, and I'm going to cut it to fit this hole right here. Probably oversize it about an inch or half an inch on all sides, and then rivet it to this, and then I'm going to attach the ECU and the trans ECU right here and here, so that all this can just sit up underneath the dash like that. So the ECU and trans ECU will be side by side, kind of up like this, and all the wiring harness will be tucked up and sort of zip tied away. So that is the basic plan. We'll see if it works out. If not, we'll modify and adapt and go from there. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this piece here actually has a little bit of a bend in it right here. It's got a break just ever so slightly on both sides. So since I have the bender now, I'm going to try to duplicate this bend in this piece so that it'll follow along right here and just lay on there nice and flat. Okay, so that's just a very slight bend. Try that one more time. It's a little off there. Yeah, so let's see if it fits on here very well. Not too bad. A little hand bending and it'll be just perfect. There goes the wife in her Z. We'll go over that car in a future video for sure. Show you all about it. It's pretty sick. Okay, so I've got the piece clamped down to the dash piece, and I've marked it where I want some rivets. I've got an 1/8 inch drill bit, so time to drill some holes. Okay, so I got all the holes drilled, and I got this corner notched out for this little hole here for clearance for the blower motor. So it's time now to rivet this thing up. Alright, so I've got my 2 ECUs out of the car and got them laid out here on my panel, and I've just used a Sharpie to mark where I want each hole drilled. And then inside the hole, once they're all drilled, I'm going to insert a riv nut, which I'm sure a lot of you know what a riv nut is, but some of you might not. So this is a riv nut, and this is a riv nut setter. So this will thread on here, and I'll show you guys how it works when I do it. But this is going to allow me to put a threaded put threads in this thin metal, basically. So there'll be one of these in every one of these holes, and then I'll be able to screw the ECU down with these screws that I have that will screw into that. So let's get that part done now. Okay, so I've got my first hole drilled here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread the rib nut onto the rib nut tool, just like that. I'm going to insert that down into the hole and squeeze, and that'll flare out the back of this on the back side, kind of like a rivet. Slide it in there, hold it flush, and squeeze all the way down. Then you thread it out like this, and that gives you a perfect threaded insert you can then thread your bolt into. So just got to do that 7 more times. Okay, so got all the holes drilled and got all the rib nuts set for the ECU over here, and 2 for the micro squirt trans box. I'm only going to use 2 for it since it doesn't weigh anything. It's super light. So all that's said and done, and last thing to do here is scuff it up, wash it down, and then give it a nice coat of black paint. And then we'll put it in the car. Okay, I'm all set up here in my paint booth and ready to paint. This time I'm using this stuff here, Rust-Oleum. Yeah, stuff seems to work pretty good. Here we go. And here it is all painted up with the ECUs mounted on there, screwed down nice and tight. Came out really good so far. Now it's time to get it in the car and start routing some wires. Alright, so here's how it sits in the car. It actually fit up in there really well. It's nice and solid. Doesn't wiggle around or rattle or anything. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good choice to put them right there, I think. Kind of looks good up in there with the black paint. So now I've just got to tidy up all this wiring and get it all zip tied out of the way and make it nice. Here we go. Okay guys, there we have it. This project is basically done now. Got everything tidied up and out of the carpet so people can sit here and their feet aren't stepping all over wiring and ECUs and all that. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. When you're working with a pre-made harness, you've just got to deal with the length they give you. So this is the best she's going to be for the time being, but I'm super stoked with it. Definitely looks a lot better than it looked before. And if you're curious about this wire here and what that is actually a K-type thermocouple I have installed in my intercooler piping to measure temperature, and it feeds into a regular multimeter which has a temperature setting on it. So I'm measuring real-time temperatures, meaning it's a super fast-acting K-type thermocouple rather than just a GM regular temp sensor. I have one of those as well installed for the ECU, but they read super slow, and I wanted to know in real time how hot the air is going into the engine, because the GM type literally does not read fast enough for you to even know how hot it got before the air started to cool off again after a pull. So that's what that's about, just a temporary wire. But yep, this project is done and looking pretty good. Appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video and this kind of stuff, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and give me a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you like, and I will catch you on the next one.